And just follow the sound. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So dear Dhamma friends, so in the beginning be comfortable with your posture and keep relax your neck, head straight in and your right palm on your left. So then bring your attention to in front of your nose and your upper lip area. So we're going to observe the inhalation, exhalation. And when you observe the inhalation, exhalation, remember not to interfere with its own nature and don't make any comments, don't kind of like have any kind of ideas regarding the inhalation, exhalation. Just allow it to happen. And when it happens, observe and recognize inhalation as inhalation, exhalation as exhalation. So in the beginning, separately observe inhalation, exhalation in front of your nose and your upper lip area. And when the mind settles down a little bit and observe entire continuation of the inhalation, exhalation, and then some inhalation become longer, shorter, heavy, soft, warm, cold. So just accept it and recognize, you see it and accept. And so from there, once the mind settles down little by little, then from tranquility meditation, we go to Vipassana meditation. So in the Vipassana level of meditation, you have to remember, you completely have to be free yourself and not to go with the outside details with your inhalation, exhalation, and more focus to inside and see what you experience. So when it comes to that, we observe the 5 aggregates: form, feeling, sensation, formations, and the consciousness. So mostly now with this tranquility state, you become more familiar with the inhalation, exhalation. And there are ways that you can go just only with the inhalation, exhalation even. The inhalation become always change and you recognize the impermanent. And then from there, the selflessness, unsatisfactory nature. So you go with that also. But from here, we come towards the inside and observe what you experience. So when it comes to that, mainly just observe the feelings. When the inhalation, exhalation happens, so how the feelings arise, sensation, and how the feelings change. So what kind of feelings that arise according to inhalation, exhalation. And it is not kind of like you observe feelings happening somewhere. The observer, the subject and the object, the both is the same thing. But to understand this, it's always have to be a little bit more sharp, because we have very nature to see things separately. And the other thing is, we always mostly we like to see with the self-centered mind. But when it comes to Vipassana level of practice, always remember, don't bring any thoughts to your experience. And also, don't have any kind of boundary lines to experience from here to there, not like that. Don't have any kind of timelines to experience. So as example, that in samatha, we observe long inhalation, short inhalation. So there is a time involving with that. But when it comes, that's why we don't go with that kind of details in Vipassana. But Samatha, we need that. In the Vipassana, you completely drop from that all the details and stay with the sensation, the feelings, and see how the feelings arise and how the feelings change, followed by the inhalation, exhalation. And recognize it is no one doing it. And it happened according to the necessary conditions with the inhalation exhalation. Then you recognize the cause and effect. And in between that, there is no any gap to settle down for anything. Unsatisfactory nature. So this all you experience with the even observing the feelings. And the sensation the same, more deeper. When the feelings arise, there is a way that as sensation, it's going to affect that to your deeper desires, and with that thought arise, and with that you experience this everything in at one point, in one moment. So moment by moment this all change. So observe and see how even that your thoughts and sometimes your entire body, and follow this change, and moment by moment entire body react to inhalation, exhalation, and to the feelings. So observe that and stay with it and follow the change again and again. If the mind go here and there, bring it back and don't try to think anything else. And sometimes whatever come to your mind, just analyze yourself. Is it related to this moment? If not, drop it and stay with that. So another thing is, whatever the mental object you get as a feeling, sensation, you analyze it deeply rather than just looking and just seeing it. That's why in some places this Vipassana, it called analytical meditation. So you analyze deeply, go deeper, 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 rather than settle down with in the surface level what you see. Okay, so we're going to practice a little bit, and your right palm on your left, and neck head straight in one line, and be comfortable with your posture, and bring attention to your whole body. Scan head to toes 3 times and say Sopatveva, or may I be well and happy, 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge in this moment with this sitting. May my body become more comfortable. May my breath be more smooth. May no difficulties come to me. May all the success come to me. Also think for a moment. This is the last moment we are spending in this very lifetime, and detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalation, exhalation. So in the beginning, Bring your attention to your lower part of the body and observe any sensation, any feelings, heaviness, tightness, heat. Just get a mental note. Don't try to change anything. And your lower back. And your upper back and shoulders. And your arms, elbow, forearms, palms, fingers, fingertips. And your abdominal area. And your chest. And your neck and head. And observe your whole body as one. Bring your attention to in front of your nose and your upper lip area. And deeply and gently breathe in, breathe out 3 times. And find the sensation, please. And just allow your inhalation, exhalation to happen itself. Recognize inhalation, exhalation separately. Just observe the rising and falling. Knowingly, this is rising, this is falling. Follow the entire continuation of the inhalation, exhalation. Some inhalation become longer, shorter, heavy, soft, warm, cold. Just see it and accept it. Don't try to make anything happen the way you want. And drop all the details with the inhalation, exhalation, and follow the feelings and feeling, sensation, formations, and consciousness. See how it change moment by moment, followed by the inhalation, exhalation. Bring your attention to your body. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also as far as you can through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. Mentally repeat after me with clear intention. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe, and may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one, out of anger or ill will, wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart forward. Visualize yourself and send it as a light to your backside, to your left side, and to your right side, downward and upward. To all six directions at once, like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy, without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance, or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest. Wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, dear Dhamma friends, when it comes to our ordinary life, we have very nature always to be occupied. Always mentally we are involving it something. So when it comes to practice of vipassana, always true, you have to remember, you have to develop a nature to be available. Rather than becoming occupied, you have become available. So the availability come out of the emptiness. And that availability is not to look for place to settle down. So if you can get the catch, if you can understand this, remember, in vipassana level, you mentally become available to be available. Not to occupied, not to settle down. But in conventional life, we have a habit. We always look ourselves, we are available to settle down. That is where the unsatisfactory nature arises, because you are looking place to settle down, you have the desire to become, but in the very nature, there is no place to become. Then always struggle. But when it comes to vipassana level, so you develop a nature to be empty, be free from all the becoming nature. You become free from all the, the constructive nature, and you keep the availability. So it's like as example, when it comes to a plight. So when they sell the seeds, it doesn't matter how the market is, how much people asking for, how many people trying to buy the seeds, they always keep few seats available. Even in a theater also same. They don't sell, even though it's full, that doesn't mean it is full. It keeps certain place available. So it's like when it comes to money, sometimes that some people, when they spend money, sometimes they keep little bit and they spend all, but they hold little bit, and when somebody asks, they say they spend everything, but there is something they hold. So just I give some little example to get into this the analytical mind, because without example sometimes it is very difficult to explain this. So then how about your mind? When you with something, it's kind of like sometimes we say full of heart, no? And sometimes we are not keep little space. So completely sometimes you available for something that exists outside, but you don't keep the space for any availability. You are completely occupied with something. But when it comes to vipassana, mentally, even though there are things, even though world, even though this moment, even though you have husband, wife, children, friends and family members, brothers, sisters, society, religion, politics, you keep some space in your mind, completely free. because that freedom will will help you to to release all the pressure. And also when it comes to awareness, that freedom always kind of like keep the clarity in you. But when you completely become occupied, you become blind sometimes. So then in the vipassana level, in the tranquility state, you slowly, you get out of this nature, and vipassana level, you become available for availability. That is the nature. That is where you develop the true strength of your mind. In the conventionally, you are occupied, but eternally, you are free. So when it comes to that, you say that people come to drugs, and they go to alcohol, they go to clubs, and they go to sex. These things, all the time in the world, and they involving with things. And mostly when you look, it kind of like addiction. So this addiction, mostly people not addicted to sometimes this outside as we see, because sometimes they not able to, they don't find a place that to freedom, the space inside their mind. So when the mind become full with something, they become helpless. So then what is happening? To cover up that, looking for that help, and they go to outside. But if you keep the gap, keep the freedom inside, without allowing to occupy, keep some space, and there is no way you go into addiction, something. And so this is a kind of the nature that we always go with our bodily, verbally, and mentally action. But little by little, try to get into that freedom. So then you will see in the vipassana level, when you develop the practice in day-to-day life, because we are conventional, we have this ordinary mind. So with that ordinary mind, we're trying to uplift to the vipassana level. So from this ordinary mind, whatever the vipassana we understand it, that vipassana also ordinary vipassana. But still there is a way that you can access. That's why when the Buddha, this in the very first time when he attained to the Buddhahood, he also had this question: how I going to teach this? Because this is completely different. And the ordinary people have their own this ordinary mind. But still, in this ordinary mind, you slowly, little by little, if you keep practice, and the most important part is releasing your mind and keep the freedom inside your mind, and keep the availability without occupy. So if you occupy with something 100%, remember, you cannot get this. It's nothing wrong with this. One day, then what will happen? You will let go something. See, sometimes when things happen to people, there is no choice. They have to let go. Then it makes a space. That is the moment maybe you're going to turn to other side. Otherwise, sometimes people are not going to hear. Completely they shut down with something. So they have to go through certain self-experience, and they have to drop something. It happened. Because all the human beings qualified to attain to the Nibbana. So that is the bottom line. But how much we occupied, how much tight we hold to things, and according to that, it's going to depend how long it takes. And sometimes by understanding, listening to Dhamma, or listening to friends, or maybe seeing the world, sometimes people release things, let go things. But some people, they don't do that. They cannot. Even they have no moment to think, look and outside around the world and understand. That much they occupied with something. It is so strong, even sometimes that some people born in the world completely occupied with something. The strong desire that no one can that give any teachings. But there are some people, this, if they have the good teachings or the good friends mainly, that's the important part. If they find the good friends, and then slowly, somehow they get into the path. So then yourself, you have to look. Before that, the things going to give you lesson, it is better you understand it and release things and find the space yourself, rather than covering it up and looking for this outside world, going here and there and becoming, clinging to something and going here and there, become the kind of like the hold it to addiction. So find the freedom within yourself. So for that, what you have to do, just sit little bit and completely shut down all the actions. In the beginning, just learn to sit. That's enough. Without doing anything, just stay a few minutes. And then little by little, you start to find that gap inside you. And that will help you to slowly get into the path. So with that, during Buddha's time, there was a monk. His name is Swarnakara. So the Swarnakara means the ornament maker. And he was a goldsmith before he became a monk. So then he became a monk, giving up his all the activities, and he became a monk, start to practice meditation. So what he used to practice meditation, that the focusing to the impermanent of the life. And he practiced day to day, the all 24/7 practice, but he couldn't get the result. Then he got tired. He thought this monk's life doesn't work for him. This monkhood doesn't work for him. It's better go back to his old profession. And one day he came to Buddha, and then he told to Buddha, Venerable Sir, this life not work for me. I tried my best. So it is time for me to go back. So the Buddha was just having a common conversation and didn't tell anything or it is right or wrong. Just start to walk. And while they walking, then the Buddha had just the conversation. How you doing? So, and just the day-to-day things. Not about that what he disappointed. Oh, why you think like that way? Don't think like, not kind of like a motivating. No, you have to practice more, or you have to add this exercise, this. No, it's not like that. Just remember see this, you have to learn these things, this little, this coloring outside. And the Buddha didn't put any attention to that and start to walk. And then they came to a little pond, and there was lotus flowers. And it was in the morning time, and newly born, that the very new lotus flower was there, blossom lotus flower. And the Buddha stopped there a little bit and told to the Swarnakara monk, Just look that flower. And then he start to look it and observe. And he was more relaxed having the conversation with the Buddha. And then and slowly Buddha left. He start to observe. And he had the thrust regarding the Buddha and just Buddha, so just look at the flower. And then he start to observe and he get into tranquility state. And observing, the flower was so beautiful. And then because of the sun, little by little, so what happened, that beauty start to disappear. And then he see the change, and then the lotus flower start to die little by little. And he was observing, mind was so tranquilized. And then he start to analyze, see this all the beautiful things, how start, then he attained to the enlightenment. So the thing is, remember, when somebody having a struggle, just understand, of course there are struggles in conventional life, but the thing is, if you want to help that person, you have to be wise. So otherwise what we do, we add more ingredients to that hardness rather than releasing that hardness from. Even in the family life the same, the children the same. So around our society the same. Even sometimes countries the same. So then you have to see how the Buddha, he didn't put any kind of attention that even though he knew what to do, he never mentioned anything, whatever the disappointment that he mentioned. So then he took it to the lotus flower and start to observe. And before he became a monk, he was a ornament maker, so goldsmith. He used to see things, very beautiful things, and he used to make things very beautifully. And once he become a monk, and he used to practice looking for the impermanent of the body, and not the any kind of that the pleasant things that he focus. And so the whatever his own lifestyle, he used to make beautiful things, and he used to see the beauty. And now he practice something else. See that your own life, your own practice become a hindrance to you. So then you have to be very careful. So that's why by force that we cannot do anything in our life. Just we have to let things to settle down and let things to arise inside. So that's why in tranquility state is important for you when you practice, because we always available for something. With that, what you like, you cannot get into that. Maybe why? Because what you like become your hindrance. You don't see it. You hold it to that. So then when you come to tranquility state, you slowly become neutral and come to a point, and you detach from like or dislike. And in that neutral moment will help you to find the path. But mostly we go with what we like. But what we like sometimes and create a hindrance in case that if you find that something, how you know, maybe deeply, it creates the resistance. You don't see. So it is better than yourself, because in the sansaric journey, maybe we don't know what kind of things we have done. So then maybe today we come to a point to practice meditation. So as example, so in the sansaric journey, you used to live in dark, maybe somewhere. and you like to be in dark. There are some people, even though they have so much light, this sun and this very hot weather, in the sun, the sunny, California, this, but still there are people, they close everything and put all the curtain down and close all the windows and everything, shut down all the doors, and they go to their room and make it's kind of like it dark, and they stay there. They feel more comfortable. From where it comes? Why they live like that? But it is there. So somehow, maybe the dark make them comfortable. So for that person, light is always disturbed. So that's the point you have to understand. The light is always disturbed. And there are some people, they used to be in light, and their darkness is disturbed. Some people used to be with the beautiful things, and the ugly become disturbed. And for some people, they used to be with the ugly, so that then the beauty become disturbed for them. So tranquility state of meditation, samatha bhavana, is the point. That's why it make it kind of come to a point, it make it your mind clear from this all. In the samatha bhavana, it doesn't matter whatever you get into in your past, it make it equal. So that's why it is important before you go to the vipassana, having the samatha meditation. Because we don't know in the past what we used to do. So then once you get into the samatha, the tranquility state, from there you can see the truth. So somehow see that the Swarnakara, he able to see the beauty and the lotus flower, and then he get into the tranquility state, rather than that that seeing the beauty. So he get into the tranquility state, and then then he start to recognize the very nature of the world, when the lotus flower, that is the point is, if he attached to the beauty of the lotus flower, when the lotus flower die, what happening? It never allow him to attain to enlightenment. That is the point that you have to understand. When the lotus flower die, he get disappointed. Why? Because he attached to the beauty. So the samatha meditation is, the samatha is the one allow you to make you available rather than occupy something. So if your mind is occupied with something, it take you out of it and keep it available. When it come to vipassana level, and you keep that availability for availability, it is a kind of, it is crazy. In conventional life, it is kind of like that sometimes verbally we cannot explain it, but it is a way that you can get it. So somehow, once the mind come to that level, there is something else happen. When it come to that, when you able to see, when you available for availability, so your mind able to see the beauty of impermanent. Another thing is, you able to see the beauty of imperfection. Because in a conventional life, we always look for perfect. Everything should be perfect. We have to schedule, timetable, patterns, this all, everything everything has patterns. If something go out of pattern, we throw it. That's the nature of conventional life. But when it comes to vipassana life, the vipassana nature, you start to see the beauty of imperfection, impermanent. And other thing is, you start to see the beauty of incomplete. Because we always look for the complete into the conventional level. That's where we have the struggle, journey. But there is a beauty. So in the Vipassana level, when you have the mind available for availability, that is where you can see that beauty. Otherwise, you're not going to see it. Otherwise, you're not going to see the beauty of imperfection. It always, you try to make it perfect. But there is a way. I give some examples. It's a, you become available for availability, and you start to see the beauty of imperfection when you see the rainbows. See that you cannot do anything. You know that you're not going to touch it, and you're not going to change the pattern. You think, oh, it should be like this, like that, it should add more colors or like that. Anybody just seeing the beauty, you just appreciate it. There is nothing, you don't schedule for that. You don't, there is no timetable for that. There's no any plan for that. Another thing is looking the landscape in the top of mountain. So it's completely, it's not going to go to, it should be like this. It's not any kind of like a perfection. It's imperfection. It is, there's no kind of like a complete pattern for that. Sunrise, look, every day, in that very moment, what you see, that's it. Even you have no idea how it should going to be. But still, you see that beauty. Sunrise and sunset, the same. It may be you go and wait there, maybe the cloud come and covered it, everything. And then still, oh, that behind the cloud, then the sunrise, then you see how the clouds is kind of like that giving kind of like a different kind of colors and radiate. You start to see it. See that it's that imperfection have the beauty. You see that. So I give some example like that. Now bring it to your life. Why then you think when it come to a person or thing, situation, it should be like this? Why you think like that? Why you cannot apply the same mindset the way you see the beauty of the sunrise, sunset, and appreciate whatever it happened? And why you cannot see the same like the beauty that you see through the rainbow? Why you struggle? Why you think it should be like this? It should be like this? Why you fight with things? Why you want to be things perfect? There's nothing wrong with that. What I want to tell, it is conventional. Remember that. The timetable is so good, but it gives the discipline to your mind. But your mind has the ability become more profitable without timetable. So using that timetable, if you able to get out of the timetable and do whatever the right things according to exactly that time without wasting anything, that is something. But the thing is, sometimes we just get addicted to the timetable. Then your life or your own lifestyle become a hindrance to your your path. Don't make it happen. It is okay in conventional life, whatever you have done. And so that's why we have to practice the samadhi, tranquility meditation, because the tranquility meditation is the place, clean that all the dust and make it free, make it kind of like a clear. And then when you go to the vipassana level, there's the beauty that you see. And that is, there is a wisdom that you have to see that. Otherwise, without that wisdom, you maybe you're going to get disappointed. So then always remember, there is a beauty with the imperfection. There is a beauty with the impermanent. There is a beauty with the deconstruction. And start to see it. In the ancient time, with the culture, tradition, this people used to have these things. But today we're losing that little by little, little by little. Now the children, they don't know they don't know how to just watch a tree. They don't know. There is a shape, there is a kind of like a language when you see the tree, when you watch the tree. It try to explain something, but now children don't know. They don't know how to do that. And even when they go to beach, when they sat on the sand and just watching, they cannot do. They go to beach, they sat on the sand and they look at the pond. Their eyes always go to the pond. And they go internet, they go Facebook and chat with friends, check emails, or maybe look latest news, update. They don't know why, because they lose that availability, they occupied. So then once the mind occupied with something, wherever you go, this outside, you don't see that, the beauty. So then remember yourself, little by little, get out of this occupied mindset. Keep little bit freedom. It is okay. You have husband, wife, children, friends and family members, you work and you do things. It is okay. But keep a little space for you, empty space. Don't give your life 100% to something. Don't give. Even for meditation, don't give. Because if you, just as an ordinary person, if you practice 100% one day meditation, the next day you're not going to do. Then you think, oh, I done, oh, meditation was so good today. And then you practice only 30-minute meditation, so good. And then the whole day, you forget about the meditation. Why? Because you practice, it is good. The practice was good. Then you complete and you let it go. And then you do all other things whole day. And then end of the day, again, the mind become kind of like a roller coaster. So that's why that even when you practice, keep the gap, keep the space, keep that availability, be available for availability, and that will bring you the freedom. In that freedom, you're going to see, it will help you to come out of your own hindrance. And it will help you to come out of this, all the patterns, schedules, timetables, methods, the culture, traditions, believing, religions, this all. It will help you to find the exit. In that exit, what will happen? You start to see the beauty of imperfection. You start to see the beauty of impermanent. you start to see the beauty of in incompletion. So like that, little by little, and get into that. And then when you have the opportunity, that you will see, that hindrance will go, and it will help you to transform your mind to liberation. So that is a journey. So that is a way of that vipassana. It is just not sitting and practice. It has a very beautiful journey. So that's why when you practice little by little, you need this knowledge, because then you trust the path, and then you become more comfortable with the path. That comfort bring the ability to move forward. That comfort bring the confident. When you are with confident with the path, and you are safe. So with that, I bless upon with this good practice. May all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. During this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbityo vajjantu sabbarogo vinassatu mate bhavatantarayo sukhi digayuko bhava. Ettavata cammihi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Idamme punya kammang asavakkaya vahangotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.